Hey everyone, Sarnar Roxas here. Hope there's not too big of a glare coming off my bald head here. Uh, I wish I had some actual backlight. I actually don't. I'm sitting under my lamp while the ceiling light, so it's shining off my head. That's kind of annoying. But I'm gonna try to make this one quick. So it's been a while since I made one of these reviews, especially movie reviews or video game reviews, pretty much anything like that. It's mostly just been Kingdom Hearts stuff lately on my channel. I'm just going to come out and say it right now. I might throw out a minor spoiler here or there. I will tell you if I do so. But I'm not going to, reveal the ending or anything like that. Because it's not going to be like an Infinity War situation where I just did basically no spoilers at all. But I'm just here just to give you guys my opinion on Avengers Endgame. I can't speak today. I'm so hyped. As you can see, I just came back from the theater. So I'm just here to just give my little review, just give my 2 cents on the movie, as if everyone on the internet hasn't already done. I'm doing it again. So yeah, so let me just throw this out here. I thought it was great. It's oh man, this is the accumulation of 21 of these Marvel movies. They've been doing it for 11 years. This is the end, basically. There's not even really much of a, there's no end credit scene, after credit scene, any of that stuff. That's the only thing I'm gonna say about the ending. Okay, that's not a spoiler, because that's we all know that. At least we all should know that now. So there's no end credit scene. So what's going to happen in Phase 4 of Marvel, we'll just see what happens with that. I know we're supposed to get sequels with Guardians of the Galaxy, Doctor Strange, and, we had Spider-Man coming out this year, later on this year. So, I mean, all those are going to be a thing, obviously. And I also see those appropriately as Phase 4 commences, pretty much with Spider-Man. But as you can already guess from that how this is how this movie is probably going to go down. But I'm going to go ahead and try to break it down. As far as pros go, I pretty much it's actually going to be really hard for me to come up with cons anything at all. As far as like the positive stuff goes, pretty much everything. The acting's on point. The action's very good. There's the majority of the movie, well, a good bit of the first half of the film, because the film is 3 hours and 2 minutes long. This is including credits as well. So it's a long film. But you are invested into it, especially if you're coming in and you don't, really know a lot of these characters, like you haven't seen the previous films, or if you haven't seen too much of them and you only seen like one here or there, like what's recent, Captain Marvel, let's say you saw that one, or you saw the first Thor film, or you saw the second Iron Man film, or something random like that. That's all well and good, that's fine. But there's a certain number of films that this is actually like fully connecting to, but this does take place after all of that. This is the accumulation of all those 11 years worth of films. Now you can have a marathon and just watch all that stuff to try to catch yourself up, even though there are more movies that you can watch that will have a bigger impact on what's going to happen in Endgame and the characters that do end up showing up, because they brought back everybody, man, pretty much. I'll say this much, okay, minor spoiler, there is some time travel in here, okay, that's basically it. There's some time travel done, it's explained pretty well, actually, and even though they make fun of the idea that we're not like Back to the Future or any of like those quantum films, or any of like the Time Machine, or any of like those time travel films. We're not like that, We're gonna find the correction for some things. Even though there's one thing that happens at the end that was kind of like with Captain America. For people that saw the movie, they know what I'm talking about. Depending on how many people actually watch this video, my reviews don't get that many views. But the people who've actually seen the film, they'll know what I'm talking about with Captain America. There's something that happens with him, and they always make this thing about how you can't change the future too much, but it seems like the future will slightly change, at least for one person. So I don't know how that makes any sense too much, but it's a comic book film. So okay, you can kind of put that over in the cons and the negative. Going back to what's positive about the film. So yeah, so minor spoilers over that's the time travel thing. Even though that it's done well and you're actually interested in what's going on and with the characters, there's a good bit of stuff in the beginning where it's actually there's a lot of talking. It's a little bit more slow paced than Infinity War, where everyone was kind of separated. Ultimately, end up in the final battle that happened, which makes me want to go back and watch Infinity War again. Now, I've loved Infinity War. Pretty sure I reviewed it. I can't remember. I think I did, and I already said how much I love it. And so this just makes me want to go back and just watch it again, and also go and watch this film as well, which I am going to go see it again. I am going to definitely go see it again. But the characters are talking, and they're dealing with the grief that happens afterwards. I like seeing this. Disney touches on this in like fairy tales and stuff, and of course the movie Shrek and stuff that touched on this. I don't know, I'm comparing Shrek to Marvel, but it's what comes after. I always like to see what comes after that happily ever after, or what comes after in terms of the Marvel Infinity War, what comes after that whole destruction phase of when Thanos snaps his fingers. What comes after the snap? You know, how does that work in? And of course, I will say this much: if you read the comic books, things happen differently. So if you're like really into the comic books and stuff like that, you should already know by now, because you've definitely possibly seen the movies, that it's not going to follow the comic books one for one. It's not going to do exactly that. They're gonna, you know, of course, Easter egg it. They're gonna throw some Easter eggs in there for you, but at the same time, there's like, okay, we're gonna do our own thing. And there was some things that was happening and what happens to like a couple of characters even towards the end. I'm just like, that didn't necessarily happen, and it's like that didn't happen in the comic books. So okay, I have a vague understanding about who's going to get axed off and who isn't, and what's going to happen with the Infinity Gauntlet and everything like that, and what's going to happen to the stones. But they do manage to do their own thing, and I didn't read Infinity War or the what comes after. I actually can't remember what it's called. I think Infinity Gauntlet. I didn't read those. Most of my information that I get is from basically the internet, wiki pages, and of course, you know, you got YouTube channels that cover this type of stuff, which are really good channels, and from buddies of mine who actually have the comic books or who actually have read the comic books, and they'll say like, well, this and this didn't happen. I was like, okay, you know, I'll research it, I'll look it up, because I don't have time to go out and actually buy these comic books anymore. Yeah, there's some things that happen in here that doesn't necessarily happen in there, and you know, vice versa. So they're definitely doing their own thing, and I like this because it's going off what the cinematic universe has built up, and the amount of characters that they have put into the films, and the amount of ones that they actually brought to the forefront and everything like that. And it's just fantastically done. It's well shot. There's actually this shot where, minor spoiler here, cutting off, going to the minor spoilers for a little bit. There's a shot with Captain America is standing up against an army, and like the sun's in the background. It's kind of shot like how The Last Jedi was shot when Luke Skywalker was in front of those First Order's AT-ATs, and you know, they just stop for a moment, and Kylo Ren's like, fire everything you have on that man, which is a hilarious scene, but it's actually very beautiful. It's shot like like an old Western or something. It's just really great. And there's a shot in here that's just like this, and not too many of those like big shots done like that, except for when the time travel stuff do happen, they actually go back to scenes from the old movies, and I'm pretty sure most of them are recreated for the most part. Like there's a couple of shots that are definitely straight from the old film, but it seems like mostly all of them were, majority of them was recreated. And I especially like how they brought back a lot of actors and actresses from the old films, even ones that got axed off. But you know, it's time travel, so we're gonna do that. Now, whether they come back or not, that's something I'm not going to say how exactly that is, because that would be giving the ending away. And I just want people to go out and just see it for themselves. Just really see it for yourself. Like, we had a packed theater. There's a moment that happened in there when everybody just loses their mind. And honestly, I was one of them. Actually, there was 3 big moments for me, but I can't say too much about it without giving it away. But for people who actually seen the film, you know which one I'm talking. You know the 3 that I'm talking about. There's one with, I'll just say who the characters that it's with. I won't say exactly what they do. There's one with Captain America. There's one with Iron Man towards the end. And then there's also a funny, actually a really good moment with some of the older heroes that was in Infinity War. And it all has to do with the stones and the snap and everything like that. You'll see what I mean. I'm trying not to give it away. It's so good. I want people to go out and see it and just talk about it like that because I really enjoyed it. Okay, so I got nothing else after that. What else? So what are the disadvantages? What are the cons in the film? Like I said, it's really hard to think of any. When I saw that this had a high rating on Rotten Tomatoes, I was like, Rotten Tomatoes has been a little bit off these past few months in terms of like movies that they give high ratings to, and then movies that they give lower ratings to somehow are more enjoyable and better in my opinion. But I haven't been reviewing anything, so I haven't said which movies are which in terms of like, you know, what I like and what I don't like. If I did have to nitpick anything, I would say that certain scenes went on longer than others. I guess if I had to pick, there was it's not like talking scenes. It was like a couple of jokes in the film that was a little awkward, and they seemed to go on for a little extra second or two longer than what it should have been. There's a joke with Ant-Man, Hulk, and like these fans that are going on. I mean, we know Ant-Man is alive. I mean, he's going to come back because of they say they put it in the trailer, so that's not much of a spoiler. But there's a joke where these kids who are fans of the Hulk and they want to get a picture with Hulk, and Ant-Man's like, "Hey, you want to get a picture with me? You know, I'm Ant-Man. Yeah, I'm a big guy. I'm a superhero," and just like that. And the kids are looking at him like, who the hell is this? It's funny at first, and it goes on for a little too long, and it gets a little awkward. There is a part where the Hulk dabs, and I'm just like, good lord. I was like, I never thought I'll see that, but you know, 2019, what are you gonna do? There's also a Fortnite joke in there, which is relatively funny. You guys probably don't know how I feel about. I think I mentioned it before in probably one of my live streams that I don't really care about battle royale games at all. So that they really grasp me. I think for like younger kids, you know, that'll be funnier, or teenagers or whoever the heck plays it. Like they seem to get a chuck out of it. Most of the people that was like around my age, late 20s or so, they was just kind of like, this is kind of groaning a little bit, like, oh my god, Fortnite. But they did manage to make it, you know, relatively funny. But besides that, like I said, there's probably been a couple of scenes I would have cut, but it probably wouldn't have made it 3 hours long. But I also feel as though that the directors knew what they was doing by having all of the footage put in, like them saying, like, we're not going to really cut anything out because it establishes these characters and where they stand at now. Because going back in the minor spoilers, I gotta tell you, minor spoilers, Thanos gets killed. Like the Thanos that does the snap, who's on this like remote planet, and they find relatively easy. Thanos gets killed in like pretty much the first 15-20 minutes in. Yeah, like Thor cuts off his head, and then he cuts to like 5 years later, and that's basically where the movie really starts. So like the beginning is sort of setting this stuff up, and then the adventure starts basically once it does that 15 years mark. So the end of minor spoilers, that's pretty much where the movie starts at least for me. That doesn't mean that the beginning's bad or anything like that. Like I said, it's a bit slow paced and everything like that, and then like the action slowly starts to seep in, and then when it does, and there's like a big war part at the end, and I don't know if it's better than Infinity War in terms of like the fighting sequences, but it's really good, and what leads up to that into the fight makes so much sense, and it works so well, and oh my god, you enjoy every minute of it. Especially a nerd like me, I can talk about this for so long, but I'm not going to let this review go on for too much longer. So basically, here's the conclusion. We got through our pros and our cons, and now for the conclusion. This film gets a thumbs up for me. Out of 4 stars, definitely a 4. I freaking loved it. It's the same rating I actually gave Infinity War, I'm pretty sure. That or 3.5, I can't remember. 4, 1 out of 10, whatever rating, 1 out of 10. Good Lord! Oh no, not a 1 out of 10! Oh Jesus! Yeah, I'll be freaking crucified if that was the case. 10 out of 10. Whatever rating system you want to go to, 100%. That, blah blah blah. This is definitely the best of the best. In all honesty, I was really looking forward to this, and every second, and I didn't go to the bathroom. I managed not to go to the bathroom. 3-hour movie. I was feeling it towards the end, but then there was a big fight sequence that happened. I was just like, okay, screw that. And it wasn't until the movie was over, then I had to go again. So, you know, like the hype kept me back from it a little bit. And it was very cold in our theater. We had a lot of people in the theater, but it was very cold. Me and my buddy went in earlier this morning. We tried to catch the 9:30 show, and there was barely any seats left, so we had to switch to the next showing after that. And it's unfortunate he couldn't get a chance to sit down and sit with me, but he enjoyed the film too. So I don't know if he's gonna check this video out loud. If he does, you know, man, we had a good time, right? We had a good time. No, that was a good time. Well, with that being said, guys, that's it. That's all I got. Conclusion, fantastic film. Go out and see it. If you haven't seen it already, most likely you did. All right. Thank you guys for watching, clicking on the video. I really appreciate that you guys actually listened to my little bit of ramble. I'm pretty sure this went on for like about 15 minutes, so I'll have to do some minor editing, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Take care.